Hey everyone, Kayla Louise here, and welcome to my podcast, Wide Open, where we talk about women's health, relationship, sex, trauma, overcoming hardship, building a life that truly feels like your own, and basically anything we damn well feel like. We look to open up a dialogue that promotes healing and growth for women, and honestly, anyone who's listening. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to race the badlands of Alberta in the Redbull Outliers? Well, on today's episode, Magalie Larouche, one of the only female dirt bike riders to ever enter this race, is going to share her experience and give you tips and tricks on how to check this race off your bucket list. Let's get wide open.
Okay,
we got it. Whew.
Okay. Okay. We might get some like intermittent, if I can even speak, intermittent static.
I don't even know what it means, but that's okay.
It might freeze once in a while. We'll make it work. Pretty good. Well, nice to finally meet you and talk to you. Well, I guess we meet at Kahuna.
Yeah, that was the first time we met. I think we were next to each other
on the start gate.
And I think we just introduced yourself or something like that, or you were, I met you somehow there.
Yeah, we were just on the start gate trying to get to know each other right before the race. And then I didn't see you. You're gone.
That's a fast race.
That was a fast race.
It's definitely not. It's not very my expertise.
No, well,
like that one.
You did awesome. I stalled off this. Well, I didn't stall. I couldn't get my bike started, so I just watched all you ladies like take off, and I was like, goodbye.
Bye.
Have fun. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right either. Is it Magalie?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Yeah. Okay. And do you go by Magalie?
It's I don't even know anymore. Like I used to say Maggie because people like literally destroying my name.
Yeah.
And more it goes now, I'm like, Maggie's not my name. It's kind of my nickname, but my name is Magalie.
Magalie. Well, I like that. That's awesome.
I always tell people whatever is easier for you. If you can pronounce it properly, Maggie's fine. Otherwise, if you can say my name, well.
Yeah. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about basically Outliers, Redbull Outliers, and your experience with it. But before we go into that, I want to just ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where do you live? You don't have to say exactly where you live if you don't want to. And then like, what do you do for work? And how long have you been riding? Just a little bit about you.
I currently live in Pemberton, in British Columbia. So it's pretty recent because otherwise I live in Whistler for pretty much the entire 9 years that I've been here. So yeah, that's where I live. I have been riding. It's been 5 years. It's gonna be it was my 5th season. 4 years on a big bike. My first bike was a little 105.
Nice.
A little wheelie machine. And then, yeah.
And how long have you been racing for?
This year was the first season that I did the whole series.
Wow.
I wanted to start last year, but then I got injured after 3. I did 3 races and I got injured at the Monkey Ranch, and I was out of pretty much the whole summer. It took me 2 months. I strained ligament in my hands and hit my elbow, and then I was kind of off the bike from July 1st till mid-September last summer.
Okay.
So that was the end of my season, and this year was the first time I've been to like all the races, and on the kind of like it's called a PNWMA, so it's kind of all across BC. The series, there's 9 races, and then I did as well the Outlier in August.
Nice.
So 10 races this summer.
Yeah. And how many women roughly are in the class that you're racing in?
It really depends. Like, so I feel there's quite a lot more people maybe in the interior race because they kind of separate into division, which is the coastal and then the interior. And then I found that there's quite a lot of women that goes to the interior one. And as well, Alberta, they have like a few races that works with BC. So like there's 3 ways that people from Alberta are coming racing. So then there's like quite a lot more girls, but generally can be from 4 to 15 girls.
Okay. Nice.
There was kind of like 4 or 5 of us that was always doing them. And then some races was like 15 girls as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it really depends on the location because you go from Chilliwack to Vernon to Castlegar and
Yeah. Some people just can't make it
depending
out.
on the travel and yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome that you were able
It's
to
fun.
do a full season because that's like a lot. You guys had more races in your season than we did. So it's like it's big dedication to get to every race.
That
Um,
wasn't, to be honest, that wasn't very easy. I had a lot of bike issue this summer, which I should probably thank Wayne. Wayne was kind of my mechanic guy. He was awesome. Like in June, I think I bought my bike 3 times to his place. So in June we had 4 races in 5 weeks, and my bike was almost at its chop, like almost between each race. There was always something. I was dealing with issue with my crankshaft quite a lot this summer. My bike was like smoking, and then after I had like clutch issues and stuff like that. So I had bike issue quite a lot. That
mhm.
makes me the last 2 races that I raced it on a friend's bike, so that was pretty interesting because my bike was out for a full month.
Yeah.
So I was able to finish the last 2 races on somebody else's bike. I didn't do as good as I was hoping so, but I still was able to race, so that was still fun.
Absolutely. And what bike do you
Mhm.
race on?
So my bike is a Gas EC300. Um, and then I don't have a lot of modification on it, to be honest. I have the only thing I've changed is a shaved seat. I didn't lower it because I personally don't want to lose like clearance on my bike.
Hmm.
The only other thing I had, like I changed the spring and then the sag to my weight. Otherwise, it's pretty stuck. And I have like all the protection possible on the bike that's needed.
And what year is it?
It's a 2022.
2022. Okay,
So my
nice.
bike has about 145 hours now. I bought it last April.
Overall, have you
Yeah,
enjoyed that bike?
I really like that bike. I definitely
Yeah.
like the 300. So my friend's bike was a 250. Actually, that was the first time I rode a 250.
Hmm.
And I think the only difference that I found, it's like you get power quicker, but not as much. The 300, I like it quite a lot because I feel for hill climb, it's amazing. Like I feel like you give it, it's like if you don't get to the end. It's like if there's always power. Like I never went like
Yeah.
full in the bike. I very like the 300. I think I'm definitely gonna stick
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
I agree. It's like you can like just kind of be on a sticky situation where you kind of are starting to gas out and it's just like ready to keep going. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, like the
like you can
250s, you
you
have
can
to
definitely,
pre-plan everything because you need to know exactly how much power you're going to give it, or you can just.
mhm. Which that was I found a bit hard when I was racing with my friend's bike. It was just so different. Like I felt
Hmm.
like my arm palm was almost bigger. Like I was in with huge arm palm because it's just more like it's always like you give gas and it always kind of goes. When I feel like my 300 is a little bit more, the distribution is a bit more equal. It's not
Yeah.
like very kicky right now when like it's when it's you give some throttle and it's always kind of making you doing like forward. It's
Yeah.
I found it a bit harder to ride on my farm for sure.
Yeah. And
I
I
find
found
the
like
tune a bit smoother.
you're on the clutch a lot more on the 250s too, because like you're having to use the clutch as a lot of your power, where the 300,
Yeah.
because it's like distributed nicely, it's like you've got
Hmm.
power in every gear and every part of the gear. So yeah, I
Yeah, I definitely found that as well.
yeah. Well,
Hmm.
good for you. That's awesome. And where like you guys are finished your race season, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
last race was in October.
Yeah.
I really wanted to make it last weekend to the
Yeah.
island, but next
I
year.
know.
Next year I want to make it.
Yeah, they're fun. We have one girl that came over from the main line, so she's been racing in my intermediate class, which has been nice. Because again, like we don't have a lot of women like as the mainland does, so it's like hit and miss how many girls show up for the races. So it was nice. We had all five of us at this last race, so it felt like there was actually some competition, which was fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. So basically, what made me want to get into this episode with you, and I mean, I've been following you, watching your riding. You're an incredible rider. But there is obviously I saw you racing, or you were riding at Outliers, and there was a video that you posted that kind of people started posting. You probably know the one. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't even realize there was any women out there. So first off, I was like, cool, you're out there, you did something crazy, people are obviously recognizing you. But I wanted to just know more, because I think it's another part of the sport that a lot of women would like to see if they can get into, and you kind of showed that it's possible. So
and it's good, because I feel like there's some people that ask me some question about it too. I feel that maybe some women didn't know they could go to those events, which is like, to me, it's the opposite. It's like, let's go, like, let's bring more women out there, because at the moment there was no women class. It's like we raced with the boys. And then it was actually really cool, because while I was out there racing, like, if you knew, it's a lot of like bottleneck, like, so like you do a lot of waiting between like checkpoints and stuff like this. And if you knew how many men came to me and just like high-five me, and like express me like how cool it is to see like women out there, because there was only 4 of us. 3 in the amateur class, and then my friend Katie was the only expert woman racing with the boys.
And that's Katie.
So that was pretty cool. Katie,
Katie, what's her? Hello.
Katie, hello. Katie,
yeah. She's incredible. Yeah, that was really cool. Can you, just before we get into it too much, can you brief us on like what the Outliers race is about? Because there's probably people listening who won't know exactly what Redbull Outliers is.
So what it is, pretty much, they call it the mass start multidiscipline hard enduro competition. It's for professional and amateur. So I couldn't find exactly how many people was this year, but in 2022, which is the year before, there was 350 riders, 17 people like representing different countries. So that's pretty cool. Like, people come from everywhere. So it's this one was like the round 5th of the Hard Enduro World Championship. So there was like people from all over the world, and there was like all the big guys working in the pro club. That was pretty cool to watch. Like, honestly, like, there's watching it on TV and being there in person and looking at them racing. It's like, I think I had goosebumps and then all this emotion like the whole time. It was pretty crazy. So it's a 2 days event pretty much. The first day, it's downtown Calgary, and it's kind of an enduro cross setting. I didn't do that one, because a lot of people like recommended me that if I didn't have to probably not do it, because it's like really, it's a lot on their bike. Let's put it that way. I had some friend that did it last year, and then like some good friend, like some of my friend I would have raced in pro class this year. They were like, honestly, Mag, if you want to save yourself for the second day, I would skip the enduro cross, which is the first day. And then it's really, if you care about your placement. It was my first time doing it, and I kind of didn't know what to expect at all, because the only people I knew that did it was Katie the previous year, and then she got injured. Actually, she did her ACL in the enduro cross on the first day. So that's kind of like, I was like, okay, if some people talk about how like kind of hard it can be, I was like, maybe I'll save myself for the second day. But like, if you really care, so how does it work? This year was only the first 42 riders that signed up. So example, like they could have like 120 amateur. There was like 80 expert, 42 pros, and 60 like veteran, like vet class. And then only 42 of those people, so the first one to sign up, they were offered if they wanted to like race the first day or not. If you do decide to race it, then it's just puts you more in front of the pack. So like, it's just like right now I started and I was like pretty like in the back of the amateur class, because then after that they just goes by who's first that kind of sign up pretty much after those 42 riders.
Okay.
So that was the first day, and then the second day it's like the enduro race, like it's in the badlands. And it's a really cool place to ride. Like generally, this is not open to public. It's like a private land, and they only open it for that event, which is pretty cool. If you don't know what's the badland, like it's something that was created by erosion like 13,000 years ago when the ice sheet melt. Like it's insane. Like it's you driving. It's about 2 hours from Calgary, so it's still a bit of a drive. And you're driving and it's kind of flat. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing going on, and then literally 5 minutes before you get to that area, you start going down, and then you just see like those huge. I don't know how to describe that. It's like it's not a mountain. It's quite short, but it's like just you're coming out of the ground. It's like those crazy, very steep, huge little mountains. I don't know everywhere. It's really impressive.
That is really cool.
And then yeah, and that's the second day. Um, and that how does it work? It's like there's 3 checkpoints, and then you have to do all the 3 checkpoints. So you have to do the first one, then after to keep going, you have to do the second one, and then the third one. Then it's a little bit than BC, different than BC. BC, how the race works, it's like you have to come back to the timing
Mm-hmm.
to see that you finish. When there, they goes by checkpoint. You made it to checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3, and then there's timing. When here
Okay.
in BC, I don't know if it's like this in the island, it's like if you don't do a full lap, they don't even, it's pretty much considered like DNF.
Yeah, that's the same over here.
But there it's not DNF. You still like content, and it has some issues as well. Like I made it to the third checkpoint, and when you look on the result online, I only made it to the second checkpoint. So there was a lot of people like you look online and then the result are not okay, because there's a lot of people I know that made it to checkpoint 3, but it didn't register at all.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
They were having some issue with like reading the tags and stuff like that. But like, I personally did not completely finish, because also how it works, it's like we have a timing, and after that time, no matter where you are on the course, you have to come back.
Oh,
So
okay.
after the checkpoint 3, I kept running for a little bit, and at some point I looked and it was like 2 hours, and I had to go back to the beginning. And then
Oh,
there's
wow.
people as well that tells you like volunteer everywhere, and they kind of telling you like the race is over and you have to go back. When here in BC, it's like if you're struggling, you can be out there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming back or you DNF, but there it's like a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah, so there's like little goals throughout the race. It's kind of
Yeah,
like if you make one goal, you still feel like you are a winner if that's all
yeah,
you went out to do.
and to be honest, like I walked the course the day before, and then there was a little section where we could practice. It was not part of the race, but like kind of off the race. It was like a bunch of like hill climb and spine and like stuff to practice a little bit. And I did that the day before, and I was like, oh, like okay, like getting nervous, because this is kind of like a tiny little like, hey, this is what you're gonna be doing tomorrow, but like nothing close of like what the actual course was. And I was like, this is spicy, so I'm excited. Well, I'm scared to see what's gonna be tomorrow. And we ended up walking it, and I was walking it, and there's stuff I couldn't even walk up, or I would slide, like I couldn't stop myself, like I would slide from the top to the bottom of it.
Wow.
I was like there's like holes sometime in the ground, so like you've got like it's maybe be the equivalent of like a tire to like walk next to the thing, and you can't very fuck up, because if you slide there's like a big hole. Then after good luck to like there's it's like it's a crazy area. It's and even just hiking it the day before, I was like, what did I sign up for? Like what did I got myself into?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, how did you learn about Redbull Outliers?
I learned through some friends. I was like, I have never kind of like heard about it. It was last year. I was kind of interested, but I thought it was maybe a little bit above my level of writing. So like I was like, okay, Katie, Dave, and my friend James were doing it. So I said, okay, you guys do it, then you tell me about it, and next year I'll sign up.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I found out about it. And then my partner back, like it changed this summer, but he was working away, so I just signed me up. And then a week before the race, he was in town, so I signed him up after. So we did it together.
Aw, that's nice. So having,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you guys had each other to like be a little bit of moral
Oh,
support. Was he the one in
Yeah,
the
moral
video?
support.
Was he the one in the video where someone's telling you to like, I should bring up
No,
that?
no, that's my friend. Well, it's a friend from Alberta. His name is Tom. We call him Coach Tom because I met him when I started dirt biking, and he's like an incredible rider. He's really good, and he was just always giving us. He was always like kind of like helping me and then giving me advice and kind of like teaching me what to do in those situations. So I called him Coach Tom.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and share that video if it's okay, because I want to just put it through here. I think I had it up.
If somebody hasn't seen it yet, because
yeah, if anyone hasn't seen this video,
bit,
there we go. You can see it now. Your Instagram page.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna put. Should I put this one on?
Need to be second gear in down here.
Yeah.
Full pin. Okay, you can do it. Full pin, eyes up. Don't back off.
That's crazy. It looks like nothing. Like it was so steep. Like
incredible.
And that guy behind me that just trusts me so much that went like a second after me. Like that's the thing. I was like, that's crazy. Like he didn't think that maybe I wouldn't make it. Like the guy went straight after me.
Yeah.
Somebody believed in me.
No, it's incredible. So, I mean, obviously, yeah, like looking at this video, you can't really tell how steep it is. Like you can tell it's steep, but like, I mean, as a dirt biker, we know if you're flinging your bike like that at the top, you know it's steep. But if you're not a dirt biker,
it was a wall. So like it was like very inclined, and the last 2 meters was like straight wall. So that's the reason. And as my front wheel kind of like contracted, obviously I didn't fully commit, but I was still on the gas and kind of hit the power band. And then as I hit that wall, the bike just like flew between my legs. Like I was surprised to find myself off the bike. Like honestly, it happened so quick. Then when I got on my feet, I slid straight to the bottom. Like I couldn't even stay. Like hiking back up, I struggled. Like people pushed me, some people pulled on me. Like
yeah, you can see the wall there, and then this guy comes up right behind you. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I was happy that it stayed at the top. To be honest, I was really stoked. I was like, that's a make. The bike is still at the top. I made it.
Yeah.
Because there's got a few people that didn't make that one. So I was pretty happy that my bike stayed there.
Yeah. So basically from there, what did you do? Like you got up there and
I climbed back up. Then after I kept trying to get somebody to help me. Like people watching they can, but like riders, we can help each other pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one guy that was stuck on the hill. So I told him, if you help me, I'll help you. So then after we kind of just like dragged my bike sideways. And after I just kind of did a little pivot turn and then went back up and left. No, I didn't leave. I left my bike there. Then I have a video, like the other guy was in even a worse situation than I was. That was so sketchy. Like on my cam, you see how sketchy it is. I was like pulling on his tire. And I was like, if I'm going right now, like I'm falling at the bottom, like that was something. I think that was the one that was scaring me the most. And that was not the worst one. Like,
really?
But this one, I don't know. Does that. The other one I found, like some walking it, I didn't know I would make it happen, to be honest. I was like, nothing was even. It's not like, hill climbs, it's kind of, you get your speed very often. It's kind of a nice climb. This was like kind of bunch of step up, and the rock was like so rough, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, and it actually just goes.
Yeah.
Literally. I was impressed that I made it. So I was like, if I can pass checkpoint 1, for me it's a win. I was like, honestly, if I make checkpoint 1, the next year I can try to make it a goal to make the checkpoint 2, and then the next year I'll try to finish it. But then it went fine, and I did the 3 checkpoint. So
you did 3.
I was pretty happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there wasn't. You kind of said this before, but there wasn't actually a women's class.
No.
So like you're part of like an just the amateur class. Is that technically what it's? Yeah. So you'd sign up as an amateur.
Yeah.
And you are still. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. The way they separated, like there's not a lot of class, which I was pretty surprised because the way I kind of went into that race was I'm happy to be in the back. Like I'm probably gonna be, I don't know what I was thinking, that like the least good. Like I'm just gonna go in that race, like just as a personal goal to try to like see where I can make it. And then next year I definitely wants to try to not be in the back, because honestly there was so many amateur class. There's a lot of like different level of riders, because it's not separated like, I don't know, like amateur and intermediate and stuff like that. So there's like so many different people, and I got a lot of people got stuck in the back, and sometimes it's like, that's pretty much not even a hill. So like you lose a lot of time when you're in the back, just waiting for people to like make those stuff. And a lot of time it's hard to go around, so you don't have choice. So sometimes you're like 10, 15 people online to do a feature or something like that. So I think we're doing it again, even if the enduro cross looked like very hard. I think I'd give it a go, depending how I feel on my bike. Like if I feel solid on my bike in August, I think I will try the enduro cross, because even if I don't do good in the enduro cross and my bike survive, you like more in the front of the pack.
Yeah.
So, and I realized that I was not in the back of the pack. Like it's pretty doable, to be honest. Like I really recommend people and women to get out there, because it would be so nice if they can finally make a class. But obviously there was only 3 girls. There was only 3 amateur girls and then 1 expert. So it will be hard to make a class. Like we will need to be way more women for them to like want to build a class in something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though, because I think it's similar to like, I mean, it was similar to where I was at my very first race. Is like I didn't know where I was, so I always wanted to be the back, because I was like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to make these hill climbs. And then I was finding, I'm like, oh, well, I'm actually making the hill climbs, and the reason I'm not is because I'm waiting, and I'm getting the rutted out shitty version of the hill climb that, well, I could have probably made it if it wasn't rutted out. So yeah, I think it's just that initial learning curve of like kind of figuring out where you actually do stand in such a massive amount of people. Because and that's cool to go out there and see like you're not, you're better than what you put yourself out there to be, I guess.
It was empowering to be like, okay, I don't know when I started with that idea that I'd be the one making people. I was like, oh, I don't want to be the girls that's gonna make this guy, which is a bad mentality. I shouldn't think like that. Like, like it's not. We shouldn't think like I'm a girl, I'm a boy, I'm like this. Like we all racer, like rider. And then I still sometimes myself have that mentality of like, oh, I'm a girl, I don't want to go in front of the boys or something like that. Like I don't want to make them like, I don't know, like fuck up their momentum and stuff like that. And Jay's my partner. He's pretty good at that. He's always telling me like, Mag, you are way better than you think. Like stop thinking, like even like on rides around here with friends, I'm always going in the back of the pack, because most of my friends are like higher level than me. So I'm always like, oh no, I'm gonna be in the back. And then Katie Alawis is one of my friends as well. She's always the one that pushing me, and she's always like, go Maggie, just go, like you're good, you're fine. And I never want to lead, I always want to be in the back. And then she's always like pushing me, like, you got this, come on, no, you're good, you got it, let's go. And Jay's the same time too. Is like, I'm like, I'm a girl, I don't want to be in the front, blah blah blah. And he's like, just go for it, Mag, you got it, like you're good. So mentality that I'm trying myself to change, and to put more myself out there, and stop thinking that because I'm a girl, I'm like, I don't want them to be annoyed by me, or like, no, like stand up, like do your thing. And
well, I'm like, that's one thing it's like, as a female, we kind of do get that advantage where I've never been out in a situation riding with a bunch of guys where they've ever looked at you and been like, oh, you're a girl, we wish you weren't here. Like, and I guess it's like, that's what our thought process is always. But there's never been a time, like they're so stoked to see a chick out there trying to do stuff. So yeah, it's like, just to get out there, I'm sure everyone out there was just like, all the power to you. And like they're all struggling too. Like everyone's just kind of in their own head. thinking that
Oh,
they're
I've
like the
helped a lot
worst.
of
So
Mhm. I've
yeah.
helped a lot of guys bring like people like helping bringing their bike. I got help on the third checkpoint because it was pretty. There's another video I posted that was pretty crazy. There was about 20 people stuck on the hill climb. It's not a hill climb. It's just this massive. There's no line on it. It's just like bunch of like step up, and I don't even understand. Like there was, and at some point like we're about to get timed out, so people just kept going, and then there's so many people, and I think I still went for it, and there's about 20 guys like stuck trying to like push their bike up, and I still went, and then people helped me push my bike up, and after I turned around and I helped some people and I kept going. Like people helps a lot. It's a very cool race.
Yeah, that's cool. Um, so what would you say was the most physically challenging part of the race for you?
I think like my weakness is definitely downhill.
Okay.
I don't know why I get scared sometimes by downhill. Even if I can make it, sometimes I'm gonna end up walking my bike.
Yeah.
Which there a lot of downhills, it's like you can't walk your bike. So like that's definitely a big challenge for me to like do some of the downhills. I did it. Like I was pretty proud, but there's like some downhills I would like stop at the top and like just be like, oh God, are you serious? Like there's no other way than me than being on my bike to go down there. Like I need to do this. And it's like self-talk, like, okay, you got this. Let's go. Let's go. Like elbow wide, this, and then just reminding me like body posture, and then you make it at the bottom, and it's like, whew, okay, I'm alive. It went good. Let's go. Like I think the challenging part for me was really downhill. Because uphill I'm not super scared. Like I'm the kind of rider which you can see in the video. If something goes wrong, I don't stay on the bike. So
Yeah.
I'm big like sketchy hill climb and stuff like this, I'm just gonna go full pin, and if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I just jump backward. To be honest,
Mhm.
downhill it's different. It's like if something happens, you can go over the bar. You can just it's
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I
then
think
and
that
then
was definitely
the bike's coming towards you, like that's the same thing I
mm-hmm.
struggle with. I'm like, at least if I'm going uphill, like I can get the bike to shoot out farther from me, and like we
Yeah,
can we can just be like disconnected. But on downhill,
yeah,
yeah, it's like you're at the mercy of like potentially rolling over your bars and having the bike just down on top of you.
yeah. So I think
That
in
feeling.
general, like that race especially, but even in my riding, it's for me what's always challenging. It's more downhills.
Yeah. Well, good for
I
you.
don't mountain bike,
And like,
which
how do
would be probably helpful, but
yeah. And so after that race, though, have you noticed like going out riding in general, you feel more confident on downhills?
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of time in trails around here and stuff like that, as I said, there's like part and areas that I just walk. Um, but there I didn't have the choice. And generally I would have probably want to walk it, but I had to stay on the bike. So I was kind of like, okay, I made that happen. So like, let's, like most likely the bike is made, it's two wheels. It's made to go downhill. It's going to pass. It's really just a rider. So
Yeah.
like I've definitely kind of built a bit more confidence from that, and then my downhill improved quite a lot this year. Like yeah. Even Jay was telling me like because he's very often in the back and he's always like helping me and correcting my body posture and stuff like this. And he's noticed that my downhill improved quite a lot this summer.
Awesome. Cool. What was the most challenging part of the race for you? Or sorry, what was the most mentally challenging part of the race for you?
It was so hot. Like honestly, it was crazy. And then we're lucky because how does it work? And the reason you have like you getting timed out and stuff like this, it's because amateur we started racing at 9, and then the next race was at 9 to 10, 10 and at 12. So you had to start at 11. So like in the morning it was hot, like so hot. It's desert pretty much out there. Like it was in August, so it was like in above 30 something. But
Wow.
luckily, I know when expert race, like my friend had raced an expert, it was crazy. Like I was literally running between checkpoint to like see my friend and film them and make sure they're doing okay. And at the end, I was giving them water because it's their water, they run out of water and stuff like this. But to come back to my challenge, I thought it was challenging, and it was like like not as warm as later during the day. So we're lucky we started at 9, but it was really hot. And then, like when you're doing like a hill climb or something challenging, after you kind of find that your breathing is different, and it was hard to come back on the normal breathing because I'm so hot and I have to keep going and I'm stressed about this. And it was like a lot of time I stopped and literally like stopped the engine when it was not on a hill climb or top of a mountain, because it kind of goes up, down, up, down, up, down all the time.
Yeah.
So when it was flat, very often I would literally just take a minute, take my helmet off, drink a lot of water, try to like bring back down my breathing, because I was like hyperventilating breathing, like and then I would just stop and be like, hey, calm down, drink some water, breathe slowly. Then after I would go back. So I think the most like mentally challenging was probably that, the eat, and
Yeah.
making sure that I'm not overeating, because when you're overeating and you don't think properly, then now you freak out a little bit more. And
Yeah. Oh, that would be, yeah. Two things, heat and downhill. Not my forte, but you know what? It's very inspiring to hear you go through all that, because like that's the thing.
it kind of sounds negative talking about, but to be honest, it was a crazy experience. Like just
Yeah.
even to be, I think I would even pay just to go watch it. That's how
Yeah.
cool it is. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch all of those hard enduro world championship. Like I generally we sit here and we watch like all the race that they have
Yeah.
across the across the world. My God, I can speak across the world, and then to see all of those pro riding here, like even the enduro cross, that was like so crazy to see. It makes everything so easy. Like some stuff was probably like as high as my hips. Like it's
Yeah.
you had to go over stuff that was like, and they just make it looks like you're doing like a baby tree, like a little like pop. Like it's just crazy to watch. It's next level. So like I
Yeah.
even not being part of the event, like I think I will do the drive to just go watch an event like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like I was supposed to be out last year watching it, and it just didn't work out. But a lot of my friends come out from the island. I have friends that go and race it off from the island. So yeah, I've heard it's just like an incredible event. And if I don't decide to try and race it next year, I would definitely be out there
You
to
should.
watch. So I would love to try. Like because I love hill climbs. Like I'm not, again, it's like I have this the imposter syndrome maybe a little bit, where I'm like, I'm not good enough. But obviously, like, yeah, there's a level where I'm not good enough. But to just go out and
Make sure you
try
got a
it,
fresh,
yeah, it would be
it's like
fun.
make sure you have a good fresh gummy tire.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Well, I guess that kind of gets into the next question. So for any women who want to try this race, what advice would you give on how to train for it?
So actually, I got coming back to Wayne. He used to give clinic with Chris Birch sometimes. So like he's the one that recommended me. There's like this online little series. It's called Say No to Slow. It's from Chris Birch, and it's like kind of like make you go through like practicing a bunch of drills, and then that's what I did. So like he told me that in October, in October, in June. So like before the monkey wrench race, pretty much. At sometimes like, hey, if you want to get ready, because also Wayne was like helping part of the volunteer to organize that race. So he was telling me like, if recommendation I gave you like drills, like look at the downhills, the hill climbs, bunch of stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I was focusing on this summer, like looking at those video. Then I was practicing, and then Onion Lake, where's the monkey wrench race, was pretty good for that, because there's a lot of like hill climbs and go and up and down and stuff like this. So that was definitely helpful. Those videos are really nice. I think it's 18 videos, something like that, and they're pretty good. So like Jerry and I, like on the drive there, would be like listening to them, and then at night at the hotel, and even before that as well. And that's how I kind of got ready for that race.
Okay.
Generally, the way I train, I definitely spend quite a lot of time on my bike. So like a lot of like seat time. Sorry. I go in the gym, like that was before, like after that, like now I kind of do boot camp 3 times a week. It's kind of a bit of CrossFit kind of training, But before that, I was still in the gym a little bit every now and then just to like stay relative, like overall in shape. So that's kind of the way I
Yeah.
train for kind of those races. And
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
definitely
And
think that training is a good one. Like you definitely want
yeah.
you want to be able to put your bike like many time.
Yeah. And those bikes are in the 200s, 225
240
pounds.
pounds.
Yeah, heavy bikes. So, yeah, you definitely want to have some upper body strength. And I mean, and if you're doing
Oh yeah.
battling the heat and stuff, I guess, cardio and working on breathing techniques and stuff
Yeah.
would probably be helpful.
So breathing technique and yeah, and training. I think training
Mhm.
is a big thing. Since I started
Yeah.
to do like religiously my 3 times a week at
Yeah.
that boot camp thing, like I've noticed a huge improvement on my bike. Like my bike just feels when I get out riding now, I just feel I don't know, it's just everything is easier. Which I
Yeah.
was like wondering. I was like, oh, I thought I was a relatively pretty strong, and I realized that being even stronger make everything easier. So that's the reason I kind of started training because next year, right now, like in the BC, I kind of race intermediate,
Hmm.
and then next year I'll see how I feel. But so far, I think I'm gonna move up to expert just because I
Oh,
prefer the A course than B course.
good for you.
Very often, B course is more like fast. It's like speed, less technical. When A course is technical stuff and it's a little bit I'm not saying I'm going to do good, but it's
Hmm.
more my type of riding. Like any race that it's super fast, I don't finish high in the podium. And then every race in BC on the series, every race that it's a little bit more technical, that's where I kind of like succeed.
Good for you.
um so I'm kind of excited. So that's the reason I'm excited to train all winter long, like still doing like committing to my 3 times a week and stuff like this because I want to see how good I can get on my bike next year and hopefully race an expert class.
Yeah. Is there anywhere on the main line that you guys can ride all year long? Like that doesn't get snow? I mean, up in
Not
Canada, it's probably pretty
really,
hard.
not really. Like I mean, I think the Squamish that you can probably ride like not all year long, but a lot. Like class, it really depends on the season. Like last year, I think my first ride was, I think it was end of February or beginning of March. Um, but then in the winter, I also snowmobile. So
Oh,
that's kind of a nice break in between. So like in the winter, like it's kind of like I'm focusing on snowmobiling anyways. But yeah, I think maybe McNaught, which is more like in Vancouver.
mm-hmm.
Maybe the lower trail I heard you can probably, depending of the season, like the winter, if we have like a very snowy winter, it really depends.
Yeah.
But I think that I heard all the lower trails are most likely accessible for the whole year. It's just super wet.
Okay.
Squamish, it really depends. It's kind of like much warmer than here. Like sometimes it can have like I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but almost kind of 10 degrees difference. So like sometimes it's rained pretty much all winter long in Squamish, so it makes it available for riding, but then it's really wet. And it's still cold. It will be like 2, 3, 4 degrees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of the closest place that we can kind of ride is Squamish all year long. But
Yeah.
as I said, generally around December, that's kind of like when I switch to more sledding.
Yeah. Fair enough. And then so you're saying like Onion Lake though, you like that for hill climbs types training? Is there like a lot of good
Oh yeah,
hill climbs? Yeah. Cool.
a
Well,
lot. It's kind of little like Onion Lake. It's in Lillooet, so that's a
mm-hmm.
really similar than Kamloops kind of area too. But Onion Lake, it's a lot of hill climbs. Like there's some crazy steep hill climb. I remember there's one that I turned my pipe blue. Like literally, like I was so on the gas and my barrel came back down and my pipe was blue. It's still metallic since that time. Like my pipe literally changed color. It's all like
Wow.
full pinion. It's like nonstop, 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 nonstop. Like I have a fan on my bike and my bike was overheating. Like you've got like crazy steep, long hill
Yeah.
climb, and I love it because hill climb is definitely one of my favorite. There's something in the hill climbs that make you feel like such a badass because like I love when the bike is screaming. It's like you're riding and it's like, and it's get me excited. Like I love hill climbs
I love it. Well,
until I
I
have to go back down.
exactly, that's the worst part. Well, definitely love to come over, and I don't know. I think we should get a group of girls to go do some Lillooet Onion Lake riding, kind of like as a
I love
tester,
to.
because I would, yeah,
Actually,
if
never thought about that.
we
That's
should see if we can get a
something I
little,
should. Yeah,
because if
because
you know the,
I know I like quite a lot. The first year I got into dirt biking, that's pretty much when I learned because you have every single levels. You can be a beginner, you can be like expert, and everybody can ride together. Like when you because it's more about kind of hill climb and stuff like this. What's technical? It's like the steepness of the hills, pretty much, and there's very often there's way around as well. When you ride like here Squamish, it's like lots. You can't really go on a ride with people that are kind of getting into it because it's like the trails are just the variety. It's like rock roots. Like it's more somebody that's getting into it will have difficulty doing that. So like the group rides here, you kind of separate them by skills pretty much. When Onion Lake, it's nice because everybody can have fun. Like it's a lot. It's a bit faster riding. Like
yeah,
it's you can yeah I can be in third when generally in Squamish I'm going to be more second and first
yeah.
gear all the time.
Oh, that sounds
And
fun.
yeah, it would definitely be cool to organize a ride because I know on the lake quite a lot. As I was saying, when I had my first big bike, my first bike was a 200. That's where I pretty much learned riding. Like Jay and I and one of our friends, Seb, we were going out like pretty much every weekend. Like I think I spent every weekend from April to October minus three weekends.
Yeah,
That's like 3 years ago. Like so I know Onion Lake quite a lot. So if
yeah.
we want to organize a ride there next year, like just kind of like a gathering there, and it's cool. Even if you say Onion Lake, there's actually no lake
Oh,
that you
really?
can go. That's a sad part about it.
What?
Because people you say like, oh yeah, let's go to Onion Lake. They think you're gonna be able to go riding and then use the lake after, but it's private, so it's actually there's no lake.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's still pretty cool to go camping out there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. I would, yeah, I think I would love to go do that because just so you even see like because obviously you're a great rider and we both like hill climbs, and if we want to see what kind of level girls are into actually going out and trying outliers, like maybe that's a good test of it. Because I mean, even here on the island, like I haven't gone out to a lot of the spots, but um I don't know of anywhere like specific that would be like a really good outliers training ground kind of thing. So it'd be fun to come check out
And
that.
it's definitely nice. There's a lot of hill climbing. It's definitely like what the outliers is a different way that I kind of learned to ride, which I've never done that. And for me, it was like really life changing in my way of riding. I used to never preload. Like I would just like get momentum and then go into a hill. When there, I was kind of like we met some people, and then some people rode with me and Jay the day before when we were practicing and giving us some. Actually, we met Franklin there.
Oh,
He
yes.
was like,
He's great.
yeah, it was so
So
great.
great.
Yeah, he rode with me and Jared the day before, and he was giving me a lot of advice. To be honest, I improved so much in that morning of riding. So I would practice to go like at the beginning of a hill climb, no speed, and you can make a hill climb no speed just like by preloading the flywheel pretty much, and then you just let go and you can make it up.
Nice.
So that was a big thing for me because when you're stuck on a hill climb and you're stuck somewhere, that's pretty much what you have to do. And I didn't even know how to ride like that. Generally, the way I would ride, it's like I would just get a lot of speed and try to carry momentum, which obviously that's what you want to do and it's good. But you can also make a hill climb from the bottom with pretty much no speed.
Yeah.
And that was something that Franklin taught me. And then that was a life changing in the way I was riding and at that race too, because you get to point where like either there's a bottleneck and stuff like that, and you have no momentum to make it up that little thing. So it's like really just all in throttle, and so that's definitely like a good area. And I was practicing that after at Onion Lake as well. And it's nice because there's a lot, so many hill climbs, and you can just sit at the bottom and you just like you can just sessions.
Yeah, session it.
Anyways, you can just session like the hill climb, and then you just look at each other, and then you don't see the top of the hill climb because it's in the wood as well, so you don't see it, but you hear the bike.
Yeah.
So like generally we're at the bottom, and you just kind of wait. You're like, oh, she's making it. She's still going. And generally you make it at the top. You just like give a bit of gas, and then that's how they know that you made it. And it's pretty cool.
I love it. That's cool.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, we're just wrapping up here on our time, which is actually perfect. Unless there's anything else you want to add, I think that was awesome. I think that gave a lot of good information. How can women sign up to do this race? Like, when do you normally see sign up for this? And where would you like?
I signed up, I think they open in May. So in that area, it was 200 to sign up for the race. And then they started to do something different, though. It's a little bit sad. So next year, I don't know what's happening. I think the race is still going to happen. It's just not going to be sponsored by Red Bull. So the
Oh,
last few years, it was part of the Hard Enduro World Championship. So it was sponsored by Red Bull. So it was a bit of a bigger event. As of next year, they going to be alternating between one race. I think it's in Tennessee. No, one race. I forgot the name of the race. It just happened. Anyways, they're going to be alternating between a race in the state and one in Canada. So I think next year, Red Bull, like the fifth round, pretty much going to be in the states, and then the year after. This is just talks. This is just what I've heard from people around. I haven't read it anywhere, and I don't even think that Red Bull said anything. So it's pretty much just from the people that organized the race that I kind of found that out about.
okay.
I think every few years they also change location. So what Red Bull's been doing there, I know next year it's not going to happen, but I know that the race was still happening before that. It was just a different name. So I'm pretty sure next year it's going to be on. So for now, I personally don't know how we're going to be able to sign up. But definitely it's definitely going to be out there. And then very often, like when you follow any of the pages, like I don't know, you like on the mainland, it's going to be PNWMA and stuff like this. There's always people updating about the races around and stuff like that.
Awesome.
As soon as I know how it works, I'm definitely going to be posting it as well, because generally events like that, I just share it on my social media and be like, hey,
Yeah.
registration are open, I'm going to be doing this, like who's in, kind of thing. But for now, I don't know exactly how next year is going to happen.
Okay. Well, we'll keep follow a couple pages. Definitely follow you. And you think you're gonna do it next year if it's on?
Yeah, I think so. It was very nice.
Sweet.
It's a very cool event.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up. Yeah, it was so nice to talk to you. And yeah, I guess I'll enjoy your winter and enjoy your winter riding. And if you want to come over on to some non-snowy ground, you can go riding.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll get
Franklin.
Franklin. Yeah, we'll get Franklin to come out. He sounds like he's a good coach.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome,
nice.
Magalie. Okay, well,
have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe to the Wide Open Podcast on Spotify and follow at Kayla Louise on Instagram. That's at KELA Louise, and look forward to more episodes.